Welcome to the new Workology Go Podcast. In just under 5 minutes, we'll get you the HR and workplace news you need before you start your day 2 times a week. Get ready, get set, and go with the new Workology Go Podcast.
Here are today's HR and workplace news headlines from Workology Go Podcast. I'm Jessica Miller-Merrill. This podcast is sponsored by HSA Bank. Bank of America announced recently that its plans to raise the minimum wage. The hourly pay will rise to $17 per hour starting May 1st and then increase to a higher rate of $20 per hour by 2021. The company raised its minimum wage just 2 years ago by $2 an hour. Newly hired entry-level employees will now make over $40,000 per year. The company also promised a benefits freeze for 2 years where benefits don't increase, allowing for people to be able to manage their finances and do financial planning. This announcement by BOA is at the heels of Amazon's recent announcement, which committed to paying all of its workers at least $15 per hour. The House is also considering a bill to raise the federal minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $15 an hour. In early March, the bill was passed by Congress. It's a much-needed positive news for many employees, especially after many Americans felt the pinch from the 2017 new tax law changes, which resulted in fewer refund checks. I've included a link in the podcast transcript to the NPR story about Bank of America, as well as Amazon, along with links to the new minimum wage bill currently in the House. All this talk about our economy softening, possibly heading into a recession, has lightened up a bit with the March jobs report, which was released April 5th. All the economic factors and job competition is really still extremely fast-moving and complex, which is forcing us in recruiting and hiring to continue to be moving at a frenzied pace. It's sometimes hard for those outside of recruiting and HR to really understand the challenge of hiring in a competitive marketplace like we are experiencing now. In a recent podcast interview with sales recruiter and agency owner Will Thompson, I talked with him about the challenges in recruiting. I'm sure he's speaking to the choir here.
Recruiting is so much more than just sourcing. There are all sorts of things involved. It is a sales job. You are out there selling to the manager at the beginning, you're selling to the candidate, you're dealing with counteroffers, you're dealing with a number of processes that, contracts, approvals, invoices, these are things that we don't talk about on a day-to-day basis, but as a recruiter, they're realities that you have to deal with every day. So I've talked to a lot of recruiters, and I've talked to agency recruiters, and I've talked to corporate recruiters, and I think regardless of if you are an agency or a corporate recruiter, I think it's essential because I think you need to understand the landscape of why people are coming and leaving and staying in satisfaction.
And understanding that competitive landscape is something that Bank of America and Amazon are doing. Are you taking a look at your current salaries and compensation to ensure you are competitive in a specific geographic location or industry? Employment gains were strongest in the healthcare industry, which added 49,000 jobs in March. The construction industry added 16,000 jobs and has increased by 246,000 jobs in the past 12 months. And employment has stayed steady at 3.9%.
With health savings accounts, flexible spending accounts, health reimbursement arrangements, COBRA, and commuter benefits, HSA Bank is simplifying the health account experience for over 35,000 employers and 2.7 million members alike, inspiring everyone to own their health. Learn more at hsabank.com.
And that's the episode of the Workology Go podcast sponsored by HSA Bank. We're your go-to for HR and workplace news. I'm Jessica Miller-Merrill. Thank you for listening.
To learn more about the Workology Go podcast, subscribe to us on Apple, Google, and Stitcher. Our podcast is also available on Alexa and Google Home. Learn more at workology.com/Go podcast and access this episode's resources, links, and reports for more information.